Hey, good morning, Mortgage Coach community. Dave Savage, CEO of Mortgage Coach here, and I have an awesome guest today. I have Deryck Cheney. First time I have interviewed Deryck one-on-one, although he did join me, I don't know, it's probably 2-3 months ago with a great Mortgage Coach loan officer. And so, Deryck, it's great to interview you for the first time one-on-one here, my man.
Excited to be here, man. Thanks a lot.
Good, good. So we'll hear your story a little bit more. I'm going to highlight a few things from last week and tell everybody what I learned at MBA, and then we'll get into the interview at hand. So last week I interviewed Bob Bodine, the man who they call the most influential guy in sports that you've never heard. If you missed that interview, I highly recommend you check it out. Awesome experience. I'm not going to get into all the details of what Bob said. If you haven't read The Power of Who, you should. And if you missed that interview, it was a very valuable call for every mortgage professional and real estate professional. One thing that I think sets up today's call pretty well is one of Bob's quotes where if you want to do some things if you want some things you've never had, you're going to need to do some things you've never done. And knowing that today's call is about social selling, knowing how poorly most mortgage professionals use social or don't even use social in today's world, I thought you might like that one, Deryck. What do you think?
I mean, that's exactly what it is, man. You have to get outside your comfort zone a little bit to do social because it's there's a fear associated with it. So, but the rewards, man, are so great. So excited.
Absolutely. So when you think of mobile, when you think of video, when you think of digital, and when you think of social, let's face it, these are not things that average loan officers do like digital natives. And to crush it I don't even say do tomorrow, to crush it today, you need to do some things you haven't done. So now I want to flow with some takeaways from the MBA, and there were three central themes at the MBA. Number one was, guys, we're going to have some product innovations. So I thought that was exciting. The affordability of housing is going to get better throughout 2017, so product innovations are coming. Number two, it was technology, technology, technology. And I'm not kidding. Every speaker, even Richard Coteray from the CFPB, talked about how important technology is to the lender of not just tomorrow, the lenders of today. And then the other central theme was just diversity. We need to support the Hispanic market. We need to support the millennial market. And that doesn't mean just go out there and sell and market to them. It means we need to become more inclusive, more diverse cultures within Mortgage Coach. So those were the three themes. The one that I think sets up today's call best was from Claire Shih. She's the founder of Hearsay. I can't remember the name of her book off the top of my head. I'll remember it in a minute, but she's got a best-selling book. But I mean, I think this slide says it all. I mean, it was a great slide. I took a photo of it, and she talked about, loan officers in the past, where it was a more linear process, telephone, visit. And today, let's face it, every family is using multi-channels, whether that's a landline, a mobile phone, text, email, Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm going to ask Deryck later on what he thinks about Twitter for mortgage professionals. But it's an omnicom channel, and we need to deliver a different experience. And so of the 5 keynote speakers, this was one of them. So it was a big takeaway from MBA that all of your CEOs, all of your head of productions, they all heard this message, they saw this message, and social is not just like a good idea, it really is a mandate going forward. So another thing that I always do when I'm in a big city like Boston, I reach out to top Mortgage Coach members. Now I did wait until the last minute, so any of you other top mortgage coaches in Boston that didn't get to come to my Power Users Lunch, I had Rick Shear, who is actually the #1 mortgage coach in Boston. He's done over 1,000 total cost analysis. We did lunch, and I thought another great setup to this call, Deryck, was Mark is doing Realtor Mastermind events. Like when we were just talking, what's working for you, how are you crushing it? He had 2 or 3 ideas that he shared, and one of them was how he's bringing realtors into live events and just crushing it. I mean, this is just a cornerstone strategy that he's killing it with. Now, I've done interviews in the past around Realtor Masterminds, but I did want to just put it on the radar, and I know, Deryck, it's part of your your values, your strategies. But I thought bringing some awesomeness from Boston would be useful for everybody. Any thoughts, Deryck, before we rocket launch and go through your presentation and start the interview?
Let's go, baby.
Right on. So what we're going to do is Deryck's got about 15, 20-minute keynote that he wants to provide to everybody. Think of it like a TED Talk. And then we're just going to go Q&A. So everybody in Mortgage Coach Land, I would love to get your questions. We're going to have lots of time for Q&A. So feel free to post those in the question section of GoToWebinar. As soon as Deryck's done with the keynote, we'll rock it out with Q&A. And Deryck, I'll let you know when I can see your screen.
Okay.
Boom. I see your screen and I see your deck.
All right, let's go. Hey there, my name is Deryck Cheney, and I believe we are entering the golden era for originating. It is an amazing and exciting time to be in this mortgage business. The business, first and foremost, is a relationship business, and it has never been easier to create, strengthen, and deepen relationships. It's breathtaking how simple it is right now to have conversations with high-quality people. In the past year, our clients increased their income by an average of $113,000. And today, I will reveal the exact step-by-step blueprint that they use to create this extraordinary success. I want to cut right to the chase and start giving you some actionable items right now that you can work on. Let me start by saying who this is for. This is for mortgage professionals, loan officers, producing managers, non-producing managers, sales managers, and really anybody in a mortgage company that's responsible for bringing loans in the door. Let me ask you this. Does this ever sound like you? Do you ever get that feeling in the pit of your stomach when you see those commercials for Quicken Loans and wonder how you are going to compete with them? Do you secretly know that the cold calls you're making, hoping to get referral partners to use you, are not working, but you don't know what else to do, so you keep making those calls? Do you feel like you're spinning your wheels, working too hard, you want to be a great producer, but you just don't know exactly what to do in this new economy? And then are you starting to break down when you're trying to do your loans and also bring loans in the door? And lastly, do you know that you're way better than you are right now? Listen, guys, I have some really cool information for you. None of that is the problem. Those are just symptoms of the problem. The real problem is that you haven't made the 5 shifts yet to become a top producer in this new economy that we're in. Once you make these shifts, you're going to have that peace that comes with knowing that you will have a rock-solid business for years to come. When you do business, you're only going to be doing business with qualified borrowers that are already sold on the value of what you deliver. You're going to be able to authentically connect with the people you most want to do business with, and you're going to do all of this while tapping back into that joy that you had when you first started the mortgage business. The one thing, and just the one thing I need you to know, though, is there are 5 simple shifts that you need to make to become a top producer in your local market while working less and getting higher quality referral partners in the future. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to make those shifts here today. Now, you might be wondering who I am. My best year as a mortgage producer was in 2010 when I originated $111 million. Before that, I was a professional tennis coach and was able to coach at the highest levels, coaching against guys like Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. So now I've combined my 2 passions to create a completely new, unique, and dynamic mastermind coaching program for originators. When I stopped originating in 2013, I took time off and really started studying internet marketing. I put myself in the top internet masterminds all over the country, and what I discovered is that the mortgage business was still in the dark ages. Other industries had already made the shift into using technology to create, strengthen, and deepen relationships. But for some reason, our industry has resisted it. My mission now is to create a world where mortgage professionals wake up every single morning inspired to go to work, passionately market their services in a relevant way while they're there, and then return home at the end of the day fulfilled by the work that they do. We have an amazing community of clients that are breaking through barriers every single day and are experiencing levels of success that are just astonishing. So let's get to it. The first shift that you have to make is you have to operate with total and complete integrity. Now, I know you're thinking right now, Deryck, listen, I've heard that one before. How is that new? I hear you, But operating with total integrity is something completely different now. What it means now is you employ the strategy of preeminence. Preeminence is you commit to being the best in your local market, that you're an expert, and have everything you do reflect that. All your profiles, all your emails, all your social media, all your view sites, all your videos. You take personal responsibility also for every one of your clients. You never let them go into a loan product that you wouldn't put your own family in. The way that I do that in my own business is that when I take on a client, I expect a 100% success rate. The way you do it as a loan officer is that you expect that every single loan that you do, that you create that raving fan by the end of that. So you guys, your business operates like a mirror. It's constantly reflecting back to you who you are as a person. For example, if you look at your clients as a commission check or a sales goal or something like that, they're going to look at you as just a rate as well. So let me recap really quickly. The first thing you have to do is you have to operate with total and complete integrity, which means being preeminent and understanding that your business operates like a mirror, constantly reflecting back to you who you are as a person. The second shift that you have to make is to be consistent to a system that works today and, more importantly, will work in the future. The flexibility in this business is our greatest strength, but it also can be our greatest weakness. The majority of loan officers operate in a very reactive way. They get up in the morning, they check their email, and then they go to bed. Their whole day is reacting, and that wears on them. When you take the beginning of each day and do the most important things first, like lead generation and taking care of yourself, it's amazing what happens. And when you know exactly what to do Monday through Thursday, then all you have to do is just wake up and execute. Now, when people hear the word system, it tends to make people cringe. But I want to let you know the acronym that I use for systems is save yourself time, energy, and money. This is what we all want more of. And the right systems can give us this. The two biggest problems that I see in training in our industry is that companies or coaches say, this is how I did it, so that's how you should do it too. But we have gone through the greatest disruption in the history of our planet with how we do business, and that's just not going to work in the future. The other thing that I see is that at big company sales meetings or industry events, they give the audience 1,000 different tools or tricks or marketing shiny objects to grow their business, but people come back home and they don't implement them into a plan. So following a system that works will give us back control of our lives and our business. The third one, and this might cause a little controversy, Dave, so if I lose any listeners here for you, I apologize in advance. The third shift that you have to make in order to be a top producer with a balanced life is that you have to stop making cold calls to the people that you most want to do business with. Making cold calls in 2017 is like trying to fill your swimming pool with a squirt gun. Yes, it will eventually work, but it's the hardest method possible. I'd rather you just get a big fire hose and fill it up quickly. I took a survey of realtors that were doing over 10 million, so these were top producers, realtors, in personal production. I asked 50 of them this question, and I invite each and every one of you to take this survey for yourself. It's a great survey just to have a cool conversation with realtors. I asked them 5 questions, and we'll go through those. But let's see if you can get the answers right. And this is what you'll have to use a little empathy to try and figure out what's really going on in a realtor's mind. The very first question I asked is, how many cold calls do you get from a loan officer per week? Take a second and guess. 5.
A lot.
That's 1 a day on average that they're getting. That's a lot of cold calls, guys. The next question I asked them, and see if you can get this right too, is what is the first thought that comes into your mind when you get a loan officer cold call? The reason I ask this question is we all know we only get 1 chance to make a first impression. So what is that first impression that you're making? Their first answer, and I got 3 answers that they had here. How quickly can I end this call? That was their very first thought. The second thought was, and this is really interesting, guy. man, they must be hurting for business. Okay, that is not the impression we want to give a top producer or realtor. They're thinking, if they're making cold calls to me, they've got to be hurting for business. The third one is, and this is super important too, I don't like you. If that first impression is a cold call to them, that is the worst first impression that you can make. The next question that I asked was, would you ever do business with a loan officer that cold calls you? Ready? No. 100% of them said no. Ready for the next question though? This is interesting. Are you open though to using another loan officer other than the one that you're using right now? Even if you have a relationship with them, and even if they're paying marketing dollars, and even if it's an in-house lender. Ready for this? Almost 48 out of 50 said yes. So what that means is they're open for business. That's, guys, what I'm saying. These realtors in America, the best ones, are open for business. They want to do business with great loan officers. It's literally an unquenchable demand right now for great loan officers right now. But they're absolutely closed to the methodologies that a lot of people are talking about, by cold calling and all these other strategies that we used to have to do in the 1980s. So if you can't make cold calls anymore, what do? Well, you have to use the secret weapon. Now, I used to tell this joke before. I'd say, hey, Dave, what does every single millennial look like? And I used to ask this when I do presentations, but I'm changing it now in this call. I'm actually changing it to, what does almost every single person in America look like right now? Ready? That's what people are doing. So instead of us fighting it, let's go with it. The secret weapon in 2017 and beyond, from here on out, is to become a leader in social selling. Now, you could ask me, what does that really mean, social selling? Let me start by saying there's an unprecedented generational change happening right now at this moment. It's transforming the way that we communicate. That's it. That's all that's happened. In our past, the method of communication has always changed. The next big thing is you have to learn how to be a social selling leader online. And I define social selling like this. Social selling is the practice of using technology to create, strengthen, and deepen relationships. Let me say that again. Social selling is the practice of using technology to create, strengthen, and deepen relationships. It's not what we have heard for the last 5 to 10 years, that technology is creating a chasm between people. It's not that. You can actually use it to strengthen and deepen relationships. Social media is the greatest relationship tool that has ever been created. We all know that right now. This isn't something new. We've heard this presentation before, right? So the question now becomes, what do you do on social? What do you say? How do you actually get deals from social? And once you crack the code, the deals flow quickly. I follow about 2,000 loan officers nationwide, and I have to say that I can still count on one hand the ones that are able to make social media work for them in an extremely high-level, relevant way. The opportunity in front of you guys is still wide open. I can give you a couple names. We have a couple people on here right now, but we'll save that for later. Let me get right to the fifth shift here. The fifth shift, well, hold on really quick, sorry. The new way with social media is when you get this right, you will establish yourself as the authority in your market. You will demonstrate preeminence because only the best people will be doing this, and you'll be delivering value. The best referral partners will now want to do business with you. And I can tell you guys, without a sliver of a doubt, realtors, financial planners are reaching out to our clients when you do this. They are starting to come to us, and that's what you can do right now. This is great news for loan officers, because if you didn't participate in that whole social media thing the last 5 years, you did not miss anything, and you're not behind, so you don't have to have that fear. This is fantastic news for the little guy. Back to my question about Quicken Loans. Big companies cannot scale this. The big companies will not be able to compete with you on a local, hyper-local level and using your own network. And when you get this right, you'll have job security for the rest of your career, and no one can take that away from you. The fifth shift is you have to close the gap, okay? There's a window right now, as we discussed, where if you make the switch from old world tactics and jump into the new world, you have the opportunity of a lifetime in front of you. Realtors and financial planners are so attracted to folks that are marketing themselves in a way that is relevant in 2017. That's what's attractive here, guys, right? They're attracted to people that are marketing themselves that's in a relevant way to 2017. That's the key. That's the secret. And the quickest way that I found to close the gap in any way, in any area of your life, is to get into a mastermind. Whenever I want to learn something new, I get with the absolute best people in the nation. We get together, we hammer it out, and we get to learn things in real time. If your company sponsors some sort of mastermind, I highly recommend it. If you're an entrepreneur type, you can create a mastermind and get it hammered out on your own. In our coaching program, we create mini masterminds within the program so that collaboration can happen and people can share things with people in real time. Because here's the truth, and I want to make this point very clear. Technology changes. Social media changes. It changes at the speed of light. So when you impart a strategy like becoming a social selling leader, you have to have real-time data, okay? You can't be going on, hey, this is what worked literally 2 years ago. It changes that quickly. So being in a mastermind is so vitally important. So let me recap for you really quick. There's 5 key shifts to make to becoming a top producer and marketing yourself in a relevant way in 2017 and beyond. The first shift you need to make is to operate with total and complete integrity. The second one is to be consistent to a system that works. The third shift is to stop doing the old world marketing tactics that are dating you to the very people that you most want to do business with. The fourth shift is to become a social selling leader. And the fifth shift is to close that gap as quickly as possible by creating your own masterminds or getting into a mastermind coaching program. Thank you very much, Dave. Let's roll.
Right on. Nice job. So we have got questions. I do want to continue to stack the deck with questions. For those of you that want to connect with Deryck offline, we have put a link to both his Facebook page and a link to this Deryck Cheney .com/schedule. So feel free to reach out to him, and there is a link in chat. So let's let the questions rock. A couple ways of asking questions, and a few of you have already submitted them in GoToMeeting. So I've got some questions. I'm getting ready to rock that out. Also, I want to encourage anyone to raise their hand. If you want to raise your hand and be unmuted, come in and provide a comment or some commentary, that would be great. First, I want to debrief a couple thoughts. You know, I love the way you defined social selling, the practice of using technology to create, strengthen, and deepen relationships. And I love the way you netted it out. It's just about communication. And let's face it, social is a new form of communication. I mean, it's nothing more, nothing less. And for all you mortgage coaches out there, I updated this slide. I put a little total cost analysis in there because, let's face it, that's what you do. You email, you text, links to digital experiences. And I know, Deryck, you're a big advocate of video. You've got some of your clients that use video. Any comments on video before we bring in some folks from the community?
From me?
Yeah.
Dude, it's unbelievable what video can do right now from both a branding perspective and even from like a direct response. So we do have somebody on here, Eric Zanatelli, who I think is doing it as good as anybody in the nation right now. So I do encourage, you know, you or your listeners to check in with him on that too. But we teach a very specific formula. It's not, you know, doing video before 2 or 3 years ago was attractive just by doing video, but now, you know, everything's starting to shift and people are doing video. Now it's all about what do you say on there? What's the length of the video? What the way that you handle the video? and then the way that you market it. But one video doing well right now, you know, on average 1,000 to 1,500 views, you can't beat that. And it's amazing to get that kind of visibility, you know, if only from a branding perspective. But as I say, we get a lot of people that they'll reach out to them and say, hey man, I've been watching your videos and you know, I'd like to do a loan app, or, you know, as I say, I'd encourage Eric so you can get exactly the words when people reach out, but it's truly amazing.
Right on. So by the way, the questions have started to fill in like there's no tomorrow. And Eric, it's been a long time since I've heard your voice, my friend, but I've known you in the industry for years. You've always been a great mortgage coach. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, and I love Mortgage Coach. I've been using it, I think, pretty much since you made it a long time ago, back when we used an abacus and a chalkboard and a piece of chalk.
Yeah, right. Well, I think you represent a great story in today's world, because you've been a successful loan officer, then you've had challenges, and I don't think, you know, I'll let you speak to what your production was a year or 2 years ago, and then I know you're crushing it now, and part of that story is how you've leveraged social selling. So how many loans were you doing, let's just say a year, 2 years ago? What was your production level versus what it is today?
I was doing 2 to 3 loans a month, and also trying to manage loan officers. And then in last November, I joined Deryck's coaching and kind of started to turn things around.
Yeah, well, it's a story we've all heard. You know, first of all, being a producing branch manager is a struggle all on its own. So why don't you kind of share a little bit about that?
How many are you closing now, Eric?
Well, here I worked up some numbers, and I started with Deryck in November, and he gave us a video challenge as our coach in December to do 60 videos. Basically, November, December, do 60 videos in 60 days, and I've always wanted to do videos. I'm probably like a lot of people out there. I actually had a brand new camera every year for 5 years that I was going to do video with, and never did video until I was challenged by Coach Deryck. And I started in the program in November, and I started working the system. In the first 5 months of this year, I closed 15 loans and made $31,000. In the next 5 months, basically from April through October, I closed 46 loans and made $91,000. And so, and it took a little while for my video to work, but what video's done for me is I have people private message me on Facebook and say, I've been watching your videos, and you seem like somebody who would like to help me and my family. And that's that's exactly what I'm trying to get out there, and I'm having a lot of fun with video.
I love it. So folks, I mean, here's the reality. This is another picture from the presentation at the MBA. And borrowers are omni-channel. By the way, if that term omni-channel is new to you, omni is Greek for ominous, and that just means everywhere you're at. I mean, it's not just multi-channel, but literally, you know, everywhere you could touch a customer in a multi-channel way, they want to get your information. And here's another cool stat, is that 28% are pure digital. By the way, that is mainly the millennials, they call it the digital natives, but every family wants a multi-channel experience. Every family wants a loan officer to commute on text. Not everybody wants Facebook, but a lot of people do. So this is something that makes a lot of sense. By the way, I've got a lot of questions asking for my slides and Deryck's slides. So our slides have been put into the handout section. Deryck's are already there, and mine will be there shortly. So all the slides that you're seeing throughout the call, you know, this call is 1, recorded, and 2, the slides are downloadable PDFs. But folks want a multi-channel experience. Now, hey, Eric, I'm getting a lot of questions around, okay, you know, what kind of videos are you posting out there? Deryck, you mentioned something, so what are the daily social tactics? Eric, why don't you speak to that first, because you're an originator who's transformed, you know, it looks like you've 5x, 10x your business. Why don't you speak to this, and then Deryck, let's have you do a round on it.
Okay. Well, what I'm doing with videos is I try to keep them to 30 seconds, 40 at the most. But I just basically tell a story of somebody who had a need and how I was able to solve it. And it's just storytelling with the videos of what ways that I can help people. And those are the ones that I'm consistently getting private message and getting loan applications from, is when I tell a story of how a borrower called me and they had a challenge of having no money, and I used X product and got them into a loan with no money out of their pocket, and we had a beautiful closing, and now they're homeowners. Boom.
Love it, love it. So by the way, guys, story selling, videos that are native in Facebook are one of the stories. By the way, Deryck, how are you using the video feature within Mortgage Coach when you put a video on a total cost analysis? What are you doing there?
You asked me that, Eric?
Yeah, Eric.
Yeah. Oh, whenever I email the Mortgage Coach deal out, I always add a video, and what I use the video for is to get the person to connect with me, and so I can go through the Mortgage Coach analysis, the total cost analysis with them. And what I use video and have a video meeting with them and show them the total cost analysis in a video meeting. One other thing, you brought up that multi-channel thing, Dave, and it's so true. I'm also using video updates to my realtors on a weekly basis, and it's very interesting to me, but I just closed a loan, and the realtor on the selling side, the listing agent, not the listing side, she's probably 73, 74 years old, and she loved the video updates. And I was really kind of surprised because we all think it's a young person's game. Everybody seems to like getting video updates and talking through video, getting face-to-face with people.
Were you doing those through Facebook Messenger? How were you?
No, I'm actually using BombBomb and doing it through email.
Got it. Love it. So here's another observation I have, and Deryck, I'd love to bring you in and get your perspective on this. But I just believe in this native video. I think Messenger is trending, and I would love to know how many of your clients are using Facebook Messenger. And and then things like ours, where you have a platform where you're delivering graphs and charts, and you can natively add a video. Again, that's one channel. And I know we can spend a lot of time going through all the other channels. Instagram is a channel, Twitter's a channel, Facebook's a channel. But Deryck, what are your thoughts, and what are you seeing with your clients out there in the way that they're using video?
So what I teach is we teach everything that we used to do on email. If we can just switch over to video, from a response rate perspective, Facebook Messenger is at 89%. So if you shoot somebody a Facebook Messenger video in there, and Dave, you and I talk like this on there, right?
Yeah.
When you do that, the response rate is 89%, even to cold traffic, because you have to look at, it's not cold, because if somebody's accepted you as a friend on Facebook, now you're in their circle, so there's a higher level of trust. So now put a video there in there to Messenger, and so 89% there. The other thing is, if you're going to leave somebody a voicemail, you leave it to them on Facebook Messenger. Stop on the phone. And so that's what we teach, number one. Number two would be text. So video to text would be number two. Response rate on there is definitely lower than that, somewhere between 30 and 50%. And then, it works right now for Eric, and that's fine, and that's good, and I encourage that. But third-party service email video is the lowest response rate, and that's somewhere between 5 and 10%. So again, it's fine to use that in there on a third-party service to email. Just have to know that it's not video that's not working. It's that email right now is so cluttered, and just the feel that people have when they're on email is, it's like they're blocking and tackling all the incoming information. That's why we teach do it on a different channel that's a little bit more intimate, so that you can break through the noise.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. I mean, anytime, first of all, we know email is the most cluttered channel, and we know text is the second most, but yet it's still the most personal. And and we know that Facebook Messenger is trending the most. I mean, we're marketers, so we're gonna screw it up. I mean, a year from now, 2 years from now, who knows? It could be the most cluttered channel, but right now it's not. And here's the thing, guys: it's changing. The world is changing, and here's what we know for sure: we know that it's not just an email world. We know that landlines, if they're not dead, they're almost dead. We're doing life on mobile. We're doing life with video. That's why at Mortgage Coach, everything we do is a native mobile design, and we've put the video in a native way, which is important. It's important that you make it easy for the consumer, that they don't have to go from one experience, one platform to another. And when you're quoting rates and fees, you want to make sure that you're quoting them with bar charts on mobile with a video. So I know we've got another good friend of Mortgage Coach, a friend of yours on the call, Shira McKinsey. Shira, I don't remember exactly how many total cost analysis you created back in the day when you were originating, but I know you did a lot of them. What are some of your thoughts? You've heard this conversation. You know Deryck well. You know Eric. You know, what are some of your thoughts right now and advice that you have to mortgage professionals?
Can I give an intro real quick, Dave?
Yeah, go for it, man.
So Shira did $63 million in her career, not making one cold call, and she's one of the best in the business that I've ever run across from really understanding how to use this technology to create and strengthen deep relationships. She wouldn't say that about herself, so I just wanted to say that real quick. So sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
Thank you, Deryck. Thank you, Deryck. Yes, Dave, I did a lot of edge total cost analysis. I, like Eric, jumped on the bandwagon the second that you had the audio component, the video component. For me, what I found so exciting was that it allowed me to engage with people in a very intimate way without being there in person. And what was exciting for me as I got to use Edge and then really started to build my practice is it gave me the confidence and comfort level to take video to another level. So I did a lot of follow-up on video. I would shoot quick little video messages. I would send them via text, via email, and it made people feel comfortable. There was a trust level that you simply cannot generate by text alone or by email. So if we have this technology and we know that this is creating connection, why don't we utilize it? And I think at the end of the day, it really does come down to just really discomfort, right? Fear of the unknown. So Eric mentioned a video challenge that we did last year. I've been collaborating, working with Deryck for, it is actually 1 year today. It is just incredibly exciting, the community that we're creating and really the results that we're seeing. And this video challenge, it allows people to really get comfortable in front of their phone, get comfortable sending it. You know, we say, hey, just do one video really badly and send it out. And that resonates with people because, guys, they don't want perfection. People relate to, they relate to flaws. They want someone that they can relate to. They want someone that they can trust. And sometimes the pretty perfect green screen background where you're in a suit and tie and you're all buttoned up, that doesn't always generate the highest engagement. So using Mortgage Coach along with the video component and then also integrating video creatively in the rest of your communication within a system that works is killing it today. It's just killing it.
Yeah, no doubt. So I would love to have folks continue to raise your hand, continue to post questions. I want to do a quick rundown of a few things. I'm going to bring in a few more questions. So Deryck's program is total integrity, you know, and if you didn't connect his brand of integrity, re-listen to this call. Follow a system. So when he's saying social, he's talking about a system. He's got proven systems. But, you know, to me, when I've interviewed the best of the best, and I have interviewed hundreds of the nation's most successful loan officers, they all have a few things in common. They all communicate really well, and they all have systems that scale. Deryck, maybe we could do a little round of debating on the whole cold calling piece. So I mean, I don't like the term cold call anyways because I think you're always best being referred. I mean, even if you're a branding loan officer, it's your first year in the business, let's face it, you have people that you would invite to your wedding. You have people that know you, like you, and care about you. So this concept of cold calling, we all have enough people that know us, like us, and trust us that we should be working off referrals. And if you read books, Bob Beaudine's book, The Power of Who, or you listen to last week's call, you can make millions of dollars and be extraordinarily successful by calling friends or calling people that already know something about you. So maybe I don't like cold calling, but hey, to me, whatever works for you, pick up the phone. Social should be your friend, but the phone should be your friend too.
Can I jump in there? Just
so
what I would, so that we can clarify that too. What I did find a cold call is that somebody's not expecting your call. It is so easy, as you just said right now, to set up meetings with people and then have relevant phone conversations with them. So what I see, and this year we've taken 363 inbound calls from loan officers all over the country inquiring about our program. The number one pain in the industry right now is we still are living in an archaic system. The relatively new loan officers are going into their companies and they say, what do I do? And they say, go get cards and start calling realtors. That doesn't work anymore. And I'd say that that's the number one from our data and research, that's what a company's training program is right now. That does not work. Now what you said absolutely works. Getting introductions, using your network, getting referrals, and then we teach our clients too how to use social to set up meetings and that. So hey Dave, you want to talk at 12 o'clock on Friday? That's not a cold call, that's a really relevant warm call. So I think we're talking the same language. What I just say is, yeah, I think we're speaking the same thing.
I know. I was just making sure I want loan officers hustling out there, and at the same time I want you working your who. I want you getting referrals, getting introduced to people that can do business with you. So the other one was become a social a leader in social selling. So folks, I want to make sure you connect the dots here. The easiest video for all of you to create on this call right now is a mortgage coach video. It's where literally on your mobile phone you add a video to a total cost analysis. And the reason that is such an easy video to create is because you're already leaving that same message on people's voicemails. You're already having that same conversation when you talk to people. So from a content perspective, it's a really easy video for you to just add. We put scripts, so we've always got a handout in our handout section with scripts on what to put in those videos, but they really are the easiest video to create. But I want to make sure you guys connected the dots. The other videos that Deryck is evangelizing, that Eric talked about, that Shira talked about, it is the Facebook video. It's using Messenger, sending a video to a realtor, cutting through the clutter, connecting personally. His number two was using your text. On your mobile app, you can just pull out a text and add a quick video to it. And then, of course, guys, we can go all really deep on videos, and we've done a lot of, I've interviewed some of the best in the country at creating videos. I was actually going to pull up our YouTube page, and if you just went to our YouTube and you typed in video, there's a number of trainings, on how to use videos, how to create the perfect mortgage coach video with Bill Hart. This one is actually on my Facebook page right now, how to create a mortgage coach video with Wally. Here's a whole call that I did with Tom Ferry on video. So there's a lot of content in Mortgage Coach, and then there's a lot of content in a lot of other places on how to do video. But please make sure you hear what Deryck's talking about. Native video pulls best. So let's see. We've got a question here. Someone wanted me to re-show the pictures of the Mastermind. So by the way, I'm just going to show these quickly. Because someone asked for it. And then Deryck, I want you to be ready to answer a question that came in. Let's see who asked this question. Annie Ranson. So hey Annie, it's been a long time. I'm going to get your questions answered right now. She would like to know who are some lenders that she could be following who you think are doing it right. And I would like to add on to her question and say who are some realtors. So who are some folks that Mortgage Coach community should follow that are really doing social right?
Want me to answer that now? Is that what you said?
Yeah, go for it.
Number one on the real estate side is Brittany Lambrex Camacho. She's a good friend of mine. She's number one at Century 21 in all of Virginia. I interviewed her for my original webinar when I did it, and she gets between 20 and 25 deals a month from social. And a lot of the stuff that we teach our clients, I've learned as much from her as probably anyone. Any of our clients, I think, that's been with us for greater than a year, we teach a very specific formula to them.
another Tuesday morning.
you know, anybody in that capacity. But
How
guys, it's really,
how do we spell her name real quick? I want to pull her up real quick.
Brittany, Brittany,
Wait, Brittany, A-N-Y.
Lambrechts.
Wait, L-A-N-B.
Lam.
A-M.
Lam. You got L-A-N-B. So L-A-B. L-A-M-B. There you go, right below it. Yeah, she's right there. There it is.
Got it. So by the way, I'm putting her in the link. I'm also putting in Tina Bellevue, who I interviewed last year. She's doing over 100 million a year, and she says Facebook is her #1 strategy. So I'm adding 2 of them in there for you.
Yeah. There's, you know, I hesitate to give too much away, truly, to be quite honest, because, you know, I don't know any kind of privacy or anything like that. But what I can tell you is that, yeah, that we teach, you know, we teach a very specific formula in there. Some of the, obviously there's other ways to get business, I guess, but this is the new fun way that's amazing. And so I do recommend it for people. If you want me to answer any questions that I see that I can give you, your audience, some overall guidelines with it, I can certainly do that.
Well, let's do that. So two things. So Annie, we gave you some stuff. I also would throw it out there to the mortgage coach community. We've got an amazing community. If you have someone that you're following, let us know. But to Deryck's point, you know, who knows what's proprietary and what's not? So let's respect that. So Deryck, let's transition to biggest mistakes, because you know we all know that while there's some great ways to do things, and you've highlighted it, we all know that loan officers, you know, some of them aren't doing it so great. So what are some of the biggest mistakes?
It's not just, yeah, it's not just loan officers. I'm not picking on loan officers because it's, you know, for anybody over 35, we didn't grow up on this, right? So we've always had a little bit of like, what's really going on? What should I do? The #1 thing that I see that people make mistake on is the mindset with it. The mindset, guys, all this is just a cocktail party. It's just a party. And Facebook's one party, Instagram's a party, Twitter's a different party, LinkedIn's a different party. And there's rules that apply inside anything, and party rules always apply. The second biggest thing that I see with people, what they do is they want to send other people to this party to go try and create relationships with them. And this isn't why it's working for you guys. There's third-party services that people are paying for to post relevant blog information. And what's happening is they're getting no engagement on that because, frankly, that's not what people care about. And when you don't get engagement on your posts, your scores go down and they stop showing your posts to the people that most need to see it. So I do not recommend any third-party service posting the 3 things you need to know in a home inspection, the 5 rules of TRID, all those things. This is #1, guys, that I see. People are spending money on this, or they have marketing people that are doing social for them. That is not the way to get business. These are parties, and you'd never send somebody else to a party to create relationships for you. The biggest one the second biggest one that I see right now, and it's very hard with where we are right now, and I respect that, but posting anything political, okay? All you have to do is go inside and feel how when somebody posts something that's not to your belief, how do you feel? What you feel is, I don't like that person, I lost respect for them, and then you either unfollow or you unfriend that person. That's the worst thing you can do in business, okay? So resist the urge, talk about your political beliefs with your own friends on your own time, but on social, it's the worst thing you can do because people are unfriending and unfollowing you. And you might say, good, I don't want anybody that's a Democrat or a Republican or whatever that thing is right now. That's not good for business. That's not the right thought.
Hey, can I add on to that? I want to add on to that one because I also think even when there's people that I know where, let's just say I share their beliefs to some extent, but I just feel like, God, they're being overboard, you know, and they're exercising poor judgment. So here's the deal, especially when you just go too intense on that, even people who align with your beliefs but just feel like you're using poor judgment or you're getting out of hand, you know, remember, social, reread the definition, it's using technology to create, strengthen, and deepen relationships. So I echo what you said there, brother. And by the way, if you listen to the recording, I think it was one of my better interviews of an actual agent where I interviewed Tina Bellevue. And by the way, I'm interviewing her again in January. It's just been a year. She covers that same thing. So it's a good point, great reminder. Anything else come to mind, man?
Yeah, I think people spend too much time trying to figure out what to post. That's talking, okay? So at a party, that's talking. The people that are always the most attractive in any party are the people that are great listeners. Now, how do you listen on social? You follow people, you comment, and you like their post right there. I can tell your whole audience right now, let's say if you lived in Atlanta, Georgia, you go to Instagram or the top of Twitter in a search, put in Atlanta real estate, and you'll have so many realtors that you won't even be able to deal with all of them. You start liking and commenting them, create a relationship with them, set up a meeting, bam. That's how people do it. That's one of our tricks that I'm fine sharing with you right now on that right now. That's something that you can do. And then with posts, always ask share why posts. Why are you doing this business? Why are you a loan officer? Why do you love your town? Why do you love helping people? Why do you love spending time with your family on the weekends? The why behind it when you're speaking, and because that's what posting is. It's talking, and we all know that the people that talk the most aren't the ones that win the most. We all know those annoying people at parties, right? So we work a lot with our clients to be great listeners, to be great conversationalists on there. As I said, it's the greatest relationship tool. It's not a place to go on there and just spam people, and that stuff just doesn't work in there. So
Love it. Love it. So let me get to a few more questions. Someone asked, where can I get mortgage coach videos? So I took you to this link. I actually put the link in GoToMeeting, but you could just go to connections, go to examples, and then go to real life stories. Every one of these is a total cost analysis video. So if you click on the picture, this is a show the benefits of homeownership, show the benefits of moving up, rate and term cost, refi. If you want to see examples of mortgage coach videos, we've got a whole page to show those off. Again, go to the website, go to examples, and click on this one right here. Also, if you just want to see pictures of what to do and how to do it, we've got a whole series of different pictures from our Instagram page, which, by the way, brings up another question. You and I were talking about Twitter. We were talking about Instagram. What's your take on those social channels? How relevant are they for today's loan officer?
So Facebook's number one right now. Interestingly enough, LinkedIn's number two. LinkedIn gets a really bad rap, but the reality is you can listen really well on Twitter right now and create relationships. On LinkedIn, sorry. Instagram is where all the trend lines are going. That's the future. The marketers haven't killed Instagram yet, so it's more intimate there. If you're on Instagram, you have to know what I call the social moire, the rule of what Instagram is, post lifestyle posts. It's not a spammy environment whatsoever, but there's a lot of upside right now on Instagram. Now, you and I were speaking yesterday about Twitter, and what's interesting, the organic reach of Twitter right now is horrible, and the trend lines are going down on Twitter. But, and I want to make this very key point, that doesn't mean that realtors and financial planners haven't got that information yet. They're still on Twitter tweeting away. It is so easy to go to the search up at the top of Twitter and put whatever town you're in and put real estate, and you'll see hundreds and hundreds of realtors tweeting away right now. They will have no engagement because there is not a lot of engagement right now on Twitter, but you can reply to them and start having conversations with them. And that's really, when people start making this shift right now in social, it comes from, where are the people? What are they doing on there? And then how can I best allocate my resources in there? You can go onto Twitter all day long and tweet away. I don't think you'll get any engagement. Right now, at least the trend lines are going down, but that doesn't mean you still can't create relationships on Twitter. We have clients all the time that I teach a very specific formula for getting it. They'll say, hey man, I met this person on Twitter. Okay, so it's still relevant, right? It's just how you do it.
Love it. So Shira, I'm going to bring you into the conversation in just 1 minute. I want to net out a few things for everybody. So when you think of, the core requirements to be competitive as a mortgage professional, you think of service, you think of product, and you think of just executing a great transaction. And I think it's pretty commonplace in the market where people differentiate on relationship. And I think everybody on this call, you all, rally around this concept of being a trusted advisor. And what Deryck is evangelizing and sharing is be a digital trusted advisor. Leverage mobile, leverage video, leverage social, and be a digital trusted advisor. So, this framework I introduced a few weeks ago, I can't remember what call I was on, but, this is the framework that I believe in and that we believe in at Mortgage Coach, that, a trusted advisor personalizes for emotional impact. And you heard Deryck and you heard Eric talk about, what are they doing? They're telling stories. All you got to do is tell a story and you've emotionally connected whatever it is you're sharing. A trusted advisor gives advice, and a trusted advisor is a leader. They lead. And Deryck made another good point around, be purpose-driven, be why-driven. I've been talking a lot from week to week for over a month now about going through the Mortgage Coach Why worksheet, getting really clear on your mortgage why, and getting really clear on your Mortgage Coach why. And I would say Deryck's just added another column to this. Get really clear on your digital, social why. Why do you want to use digital and social to execute your mortgage why? If you actually took the time after this call and you wrote that out, a sentence or two, I think you'd be well served. So we're getting ready to wrap this up. Shira, you were one of the folks that introduced me to Deryck. We've had a great conversation, but what would you like to add as we get into wrap-up mode?
Sure, thanks, Dave. I think one of the key components that I've seen, and I witnessed this in my career, it was certainly the catalyst for taking me to 62 million, and it was this concept of the mastermind. It can't be overstated. It just can't. We work as originators. We work in a vacuum sometimes, where we're kind of alone on an island. We might be competing with other LOs within our company. And I guess in 2006, I started really getting involved with different types of masterminds. Some were within the industry, some were outside of the industry. But what we've witnessed in the last 18 months with originators coming together across the country and collaborating, not competing, collaborating, sharing ideas, sharing wins, supporting one another, lifting one another up, it is creating momentum that I have never witnessed before. And so as someone who has always had a coach, and I have always had that one-to-one relationship in a coaching experience, what we're seeing is something just completely different with people coming together. So for everyone in the Mortgage Coach community, I just can't recommend enough. Get involved in a mastermind. Surround yourself with people that are slightly above you who are also slightly below you, because as much as we want to be lifted up and we want to set our goals higher, there's something really powerful that happens when we put ourselves in a position where we can teach others and lift them. So we didn't really get into that as much in that number 5 point, and I really wanted to drive that home, because that is what we are hearing is single-handedly one of the greatest benefits that at least our community is seeing. And the results that they're getting are unbelievable, unbelievable.
Love it. Thank you, Sheriff, for all the value you brought. So folks, if you want to connect with Deryck, you could follow him on Facebook. We put a link here, and it's, again, DeryckCheney.com/schedule. Urge you to connect with them. Deryck, you come on here, you've delivered a lot of value. I'm going to give you the last minute for any words of wisdom you want to share with the Mortgage Coach community before we wrap it up.
I would just say, guys, that fear is a really interesting thing, and it manifests itself in resistance. And and we rationalize a lot of things, and we want to talk about a lot of things, but what it really comes down to is a lot of the people haven't made these shifts yet because of fear. And I just want to let you know that we respect that and we honor that. We are here if you want to have any conversations about that. But this isn't Deryck Cheney that came. I didn't create Facebook. I didn't create video. I didn't create any of this stuff. What I really set out to do is just to create a program around helping people getting into this digital world, because it is scary. We didn't grow up on this stuff. And it took me 2 years to learn. I stopped in 2013 and I went and studied it for a long time. And in the beginning, I was hoping it would go away too. It's not going away. It's only picking up. When I'm driving, now I don't even see people watching the roads. They're watching their phones while driving. So it's where the world's going. And when you make that switch and you can get over those fears and you get on there, there's such an amazing amount of success and fulfillment on the other side, and it really does give people a lot of peace. So I encourage you, as Shears just said it wonderfully, because technology does change. I highly encourage masterminds around this subject. It's I wouldn't recommend a one-to-one relationship for one person to teach. Our program's set up. We put everybody in a small mastermind and a bigger mastermind because real time is very, very important in this world. So I highly recommend those, and I wish each and every one of you a lot of success in 2017. Thanks, Dave, for having me.
Hey, thank you for being here and sharing so much. So, folks, I want to remind you, every Tuesday I'm interviewing someone awesome. Every Wednesday is just about mobile training, how to master your mobile device as a mortgage coach. This is a live training at 11 o'clock tomorrow. We do technical training every Tuesday. We do Mortgage Coach University every day of the week. There's a couple Mortgage Coach trainings going on. And my guest next week is former Navy SEAL Phil Black, who is also a trainer of the SEAL teams, a graduate of Harvard, of Yale. I mean, the guy is mind-boggling. I think this will be my 5th interview of Phil Black. Don't miss that interview next week. As you leave today's call, let us know what you thought of today's call. Did we wow you and surpass your expectations? Did you get some great takeaways? If you are a guest on this call and you would like to learn more about Mortgage Coach, click the last option. We would love to have you on our team if you're not already on our team, or if you're watching this with another loan officer. Again, follow Deryck. Follow Eric. Listen to this call again. Hopefully we delivered a lot of value today. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Deryck, thank you very much, brother.
No problem.
Bye, everybody.